Ah, ah. Hello, darlings, and a very warm welcome to Friday Night Live. And we're going to spend the next half an hour together, at least. We're going to see out Friday and we're going to welcome in the weekend, aren't we? All in a state of late night, cozy community togetherness. I'm looking forward to it very much, and I hope you are too. Now, if you'll excuse me, first and foremost, it has been Friday night, quite busy for the old hospitality industry. You'll forgive me if I have a little slurp of this truly awful, well, not truly awful, not the best wine that I damn near knocked off my beautiful wine coaster, which I'm enjoying very much indeed. Cheers, darlings. Your very good health. Up yours, bottoms up. Well, it could be worse. Now then, first cab off the rank tonight is the Jimmy, the lovely Jimmy Mighty Quinn, who says, "Good evening, Boaty." And all. Oh, I'm getting a semi. That's a semi wine gas. Sorry if you misunderstood what I just said there. I do apologize. I'm getting a kind of half hearted version of a wine gasm. And you'll forgive me if I have any difficulty speaking today. It's the old enemy. I'm in absolute bloody agony. But hey ho, worse things happen at sea, don't they? For example, you could have the same toothache, but be at sea and be seasick. Imagine being seasick with a terrible toothache. I'll leave you to imagine that. I wouldn't enjoy it at all. Not at all. So the lovely Sophie is with us and says, "Hi, everyone. Hello to you." Oh, fabulous. Holly is with us once again. Hello, fantastic. White live stream chat box. Oh, well done, Holly. Instead of the comments on the video picture screen. Hope it stays this way. I hope so too. I couldn't cope with that. I wouldn't cope with that very well at all. I like my comments on a nice white background, darlings, and I'm sure that you do too. Uh, Peter P is here. A jolly good evening to you. Matron is here. Good evening, Matron. Do, do, do. Oh, the M11 is here also. Good old Emmels and the Emmelums. Good evening, chatters, says Emma. And a moist and smoochy hello to my favourite photo flogging fantasy fartmonger. Oh, God, I forgot about the photos. I'd better get those sent off, haven't I? Oh, dear. Are you taking a can of WD-40, Sophie asked Peter P? And that would be for my fridge door, which of late, to be fair, has been making some absolutely horrendous noises. Ah, isn't it dreadful? Isn't it dreadful that if you have and I hope you don't, but let's send sympathy to those who have a household situation where their fridge door makes noises like we've all been hearing over the last few days. I mean, quite honestly, and forgive me for this, I don't like to be base and scatological in our community time together. But it occurred to me, and possibly to some of you, that on more than one occasion, the noise of my fridge door opening did sound like a lady breaking wind. And I apologize for that. I mean no offense. It just sounded like that to me. And that would be awful. I mean, yeah, let's, as I say, let's send sympathy to anybody who has a fridge like that. I mean, imagine if it sounded like an enormous fart every time you took your meat out. Oh, I can't imagine anything worse. That could put you off your roast beef Sunday lunch, couldn't it? Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes, there we were. The lovely Alan Simpson is with us and says, "Greetings, honourable community and Lord of the Manor." I like that. I like that very much. We should make that a thing. Greetings, honourable community. I like that. I do it for a bridge, so I should do it for you lot, shouldn't I? Remind me, remind me that we will. That's how we're going to start these things in future. Well done, Alan. That's a jolly good notion. Stratospherian has joined us again, and that's fabulous, and says good evening. Matron says evening all and hello, Boaty. Alan Simpson says, I love the idea of Boaty coming back to haunt Windy Bottom in the very distant future. Well, thank you for the very distant aspect of that. As a farting phantom, as opposed to a phantom fart. Oh, gosh. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Now, I think that is in part a reference to a favourite of the community, a relatively long-running feature on the Two Ronnies, which was the Phantom Raspberry Blower of Old London Town, which was, of course, written by dear old Spike Milligan. God bless him. Trisha Alderman is with us and says good evening, Boaty, and all in chat. Steve Colg is with us. Good evening to you. Bad Books is here. Oh, this is fabulous. All of the ganga. Oh, very good, Alan Simpson, getting a semi on. Very good, very clever. A very good wine-based pun there. Tell you what, I have 2 points for that. That was excellent. Oh, Dan Peters is with us, who says, hello, Mr. Boaty, sir. Hello, Dan. Hope you had a fantastic day at the yard with old Capitan Von Mustard. He's told us that he enjoyed it very much. And apparently you had pizza. Pizza. That's quite a rare treat at the Yard of Dreams. Oh, now then, obviously, rude of me not to say so, but naturally, I would love to hear how your day has been. I'd love to know how you are this evening. Above all, I need to know what you had to eat. I had a slice of toast for breakfast, nothing unusual there. Lavishly buttered, naturally, I'm not an animal. For lunch, I had ham and egg with boiled, steamed, fried baby potatoes. More of that in the daily diary tomorrow. Yes. And for supper, it's going to be, it's Friday night, it's going to be staff curry, isn't it, darlings? With steamed white rice and roti. But obviously, I would love to know what you had. I know what Emma had because she shared that information on the Mary Huff Management Hotline. Oh, yeah, that's a thriving place, that is. Sorry, that went down the wrong hole. Do please excuse me. Oh, dearie me. Oh, the Ken Joji is with us and says hello to you. I'm very happy to join your live, says Dan Peters. And, it's your live too, my friend. You are a very long-standing member of the Inner Scrotum by now. And we do miss you when you can't make it. But, it's completely understandable that not everybody can make these things. They are terribly late at night, and that's a necessary evil. I mean, I do them as soon as I can. I do them almost immediately after getting home from work. But that is far too late for some people, darlings. Far too late. But, the hardy amongst you, my God, you stay awake for it. And I'm very glad about that. It's nothing I've done, says Holly. You're filming in landscape mode tonight, I believe. I am indeed. I'm back to my beloved landscape mode. I don't enjoy horizontal at all, to be honest. I mean, I quite like the fact that it can bring in 2,500 views like it did last Monday, and some lovely new members of the community, and some new subscribers for myself and the M11. But other than that, I don't like it at all. I like being widescreen. So look, I can spread out. I can touch that side of the camera and that side of the camera. It's lovely. It's lovely. It really gives me room to maneuver. I don't like being constrained in that little narrow. It makes me feel like that. I'm a man with broad shoulders, darlings. I work better in landscape than I do in horizontal. Oh, Dan saying hello to Matron. The Kenjoji hates wine. Gosh, how can you hate wine? It's for those who whine. And those were two versions of the word wine there. One had an H and the other didn't. I would disagree with that. I don't think that wine drinking people are, generally speaking, whiners with an H. I mean, admittedly, I have a good old whine about anything I can think of, but I'm not sure that it's endemic in the breed. It's been very hot here in London, says Matron. Yes. Oh God, it's been fantastic, hasn't it? It's been fantastic. It always triggers two memories with me. Walking out of an air-conditioned building into, really quite intense summer evening heat, like there has been tonight. Two memories, two very specific memories. Which shouldn't have come as a surprise. And there will be many more similar occasions, but there are two that stand out in my mind. I'm not sure why, but they always jump into my mind on a night like this. One was getting off an airplane at Larnaca Airport in Cyprus, and it was the first time that Lisa and I went to Cyprus. Lisa had a long-standing love affair with the island. At that point, I'd never been. And Lisa went out with the kids for 2 weeks, and I couldn't join her for the first week. I had show commitments. It was back in my singing days. I had the promotions company, and I had the entertainment agency, and it was a week that I couldn't possibly get away. So Lisa was on her own for a week. I sorted the house out and all of that. So she had a chill out time for the first week with the kids. And then I flew out for the second week to join her. And the first day that I could possibly go. Now, in those days, you didn't really book flights on the internet. You used to go into, God, who can remember this? You would go into a travel agent and you would book a ticket, and you would actually get a paper ticket that you would put in your travel wallet. And I was perfectly happy to fly from anywhere in the UK. Wasn't a problem at all. And bizarrely, on that particular day in history, in the whole of the UK, and it was quite short notice, Lisa and I had only just got together. That's why it was all very short notice. Lisa and we happened very, very quickly. I drove from Birmingham. I was living above the showrooms at the time in my palatial 5-bedroom flat. I drove down to just outside Exeter in Devon on a totally blind date. I didn't even have a picture of her. She described herself, but I'd never seen a picture of her. And I drove down there, picked her up from her charming little cottage in a village called Rockbere, which is just outside Exeter, right by Exeter Airport. And things happened very, very quickly after that. I was driving Milo, my Porsche 928. And she was very taken with that, and we went out for a meal, and then we went off driving in the Porsche, but I let her drive because she'd always wanted to drive a Porsche. I stayed the night, and then things just happened very, very quickly. It was only a couple of weeks after that she had this pre-booked holiday in Cyprus. Obviously, she wanted me to get out there with her. The only flight I could get for that second week was from Ringway, Manchester Airport, which is fine. But it was a Club 18 to 30 charter flight. Oh my God, talk about the worst flight of my life. Oh, it was absolutely horrendous. All of those young, dreadful, drunken, working class people. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. But I was determined to get to Cyprus. And so, yeah, got my ass out there. And I just remember walking down off the plane and being hit by this stifling heat. Uh, if I remember correctly, I can't remember what time of the year it was, but it was obviously summertime. And it was like, over 40 degrees during the day. And I just remember walking off the plane and getting hit with this stifling heat. And yeah, and if you want the rest of that story, we had a really good week. We fell even more in love with each other. I bought the house that we'd rented, and I actually proposed at the end of that week, and Lisa accepted, and I bought her a ring, and so on and so on and so on and so on. The other memory of that stifling heat thing, oddly enough, again, it was with Lisa. And we went to Paris by mistake. We went over from somewhere to somewhere on a ferry, because it was, I can't remember. I wasn't planning on doing any driving. So I left the car in a car park at whatever the bloody hell we were, somewhere on the south coast, obviously. Might have been Portsmouth or somewhere like that. And I think we went to, oh God, what's it called? I keep wanting to say Santander, and of course it's not. That's in Spain, just on the French coast, but not Dover. Cherbourg. I think it was Cherbourg, actually. Or it might have been, I can't remember, but I had something or other planned. And we were going to go over as foot passengers. Well, we did go over as foot passengers. And then on the ferry, we got chatting with this very posh lady. She was rather lovely. And she'd just been to Cows Week, the yacht, not cows as in, but cows as in the Isle of Wight. And she'd been to the yacht festival. She was jolly wealthy and jolly posh. And we got chatting on the ferry and whatnot, and we really hit it off. And and we talked about what we were doing, and we said, I forgot what I'd planned to do, but we were going to spend a night or a couple of nights in the environ where we kind of landed. I didn't take the car, so I wasn't planning on going anywhere. And this lady said to us, "Oh, you must come to Paris. Come to Paris and stay with me. I have this amazing apartment. It's one of the only places in Paris where you can see the Eiffel Tower, something else, and something else." She said, "I get paid a fortune for TV and movie companies to film from it because it's literally only this building where you can see all of those three things." And so we kind of said, "Yeah, okay, why not?" So we jumped on a train with her and headed off to Paris, ended up at the Gare du Nord. And of course, the train was air conditioned. And again, this is that other memory of that stifling heat. And I remember getting off the train into the Gare du Nord with Lise and this Swedish lady, and just being hit by this heat. And those are the two memories that always get triggered when it's a night like tonight, and I walk out of like the restaurant. Obviously, we're air conditioned. Oh, excuse me, I do apologise. That was a shameful wine burp there, my darlings. I can only apologise for that. Oh, and if you want to know the rest of the Paris trip, then well, we just had a wonderful time. Really, we stayed with that lovely, kind lady, and we went out and we ate beautiful food. Yeah, we just obviously she lived in Paris. I knew Paris quite well. Lisa hadn't been before, and we just had a really good time. She was the nice lady was properly Bessie Beger, bon chic, bon genre, and she knew all of the beautiful people and the beautiful places, and we just hung out at them and had amazing food and amazing wine all day, all night, and an amazing couple of nights. I even did an impromptu gig at a cabaret place, a basement cabaret in Saint-Germain, in the suburb of Paris, Saint-Germain. We ended up at this really cool hangout place. I can't remember the Swedish lady's name, to my regret and shame, but we ended up at this fantastic, bar place. And then down underneath, there was a cavernous basement where they did a cabaret thing. And we were down there, and the Swedish lady knew the owners. And she was telling them that I was a really, really famous singer from the UK. She was exaggerating slightly, obviously. Well, she was exaggerating quite a lot. And I ended up at, God knows, about 2 o'clock in the morning. I ended up doing an impromptu mini set in this basement in Saint-Germain with the house band. And God, that was amazing. Oh, what a memory. I mean, it's all a bit more exotic than walking out of a restaurant in Ripley and feeling that heat, but it's some nice memories to get jogged, isn't it? When you live a life like I do, a humble life where you live in poverty with occasional trips to destitution, and you have no life really, other than the time I spend with you beautiful people and the customers in the restaurant. It's quite nice that anything will engage a memory of when you used to be more interesting and more windswept and more international and jet setty and had a woman. Happy days indeed. Let's get back to the comments. Oh, that's right. Matron was telling us that it's been very warm in London. Maybe Boaty's farts don't smell, says Peter P, but his bullshit does. Oh, Andrew Buttygig is with us, the lovely Irish Spotty Butty. Hope you're doing okay, mate. You keep that chin up. Fastest Welshman, but only as a cannonball, says the Ken Joji. Somewhat cryptically. Oh, Damien Eves. Damien Eves is with us and says hello to one and all. And a very warm hello to you. And lovely to see you here. I was speaking to the owner of an MG midget, says Dan Peters. Sorry if I've got the name wrong. Well, you didn't say his name. You just said he was the owner of an MG midget. Or do you mean the name of the car? You got the name of the car completely correct. An MG midget. What a lovely car it was. Serious and a beautiful classic. Well, MG midgets can be very nice. They were kind of the bane of my life because when I was dealing in classic and sports cars, then my absolute mainstay was an MGB, either BGT or B Roadster, and I sold on average one of those per day. I always did at least 30 a month. The other staple sale were Volkswagen Beetles, very popular with students and idiots at the time. Dreadful cars. I hated them. Obviously, I had to pretend not to. But probably in third place would be the midget. They were jolly good value back in the day, and people used to like them. They really are very cute indeed. And they were kind of the bane of my life because my car display at the showrooms was not static. I had a main showroom, I had the auction hall, I had a storage hall, but there was a big old space in between. And on a daily basis, we used to bring the cars out, park them up in a display, some of the showroom cars as well. And if that involved midgets or Spitfires, then I was in all sorts of trouble because it is not easy for me to drive an MG midget. I can tell you that. If it had been fitted with an aftermarket smaller steering wheel, it was a little bit easier. But oh God, it was absolutely horrendous. And there's no way of making it cool. If I tried to drive a Spitfire or an MG midget or a Mark 1 Lotus Esprit, then it never looked like anything other than an oversized clown trying to drive a car that he very obviously didn't fit into. You couldn't cool it out like you could in a Lamborghini Countach. Now, in a Countach, you could do the really super cool thing if you were really tall like me, because if you've ever driven a Countach, then rear vision is, to all intents and purposes, non-existent. Derisory little mirrors. Your rear view mirror from the internal mirror is just blocked. It's zero. Now, the initial concept cars were fitted with a periscope, believe it or not. I'm not joking. The concept Countach had a periscope in order to allow you to see backwards. These days, of course, it would just have a camera, but you couldn't see a bloody thing. So the cool thing that you could do in the Countach, if you were tall, is put the scissor door up and you could sit on the sill. And if your legs and your arms were long enough, you could operate the pedals and the steering wheel while looking behind you. Now, that was the cool thing about being tall in a car that was too small. I used to love that. That always used to get a crowd. We had numerous Countaches in the showrooms, and they're always going to be one of the cars that we took out and put out on display. And I used to love backing that back into the showroom and parking it up and doing that trick, because there would always be a crowd of gawpers around, and you felt really cool doing it. I was young and foolish, darlings. Don't judge me. Oh, and Matron's welcoming Damien back. That's nice. Diddly do. Bad Book says, fridge door my arse. You even explained how tight your ring piece is. Though it's just a matter of time until it loosens. Even Gandhi wore a nappy. Oh, Bad Books, you can have a point for that. You can have a point for that comment. Well said. Well said. I must just say that it's very unfair when live streams go on too late at night. And I say things that I would never normally say, because the amount of wine that I've taken in at that moment is what I would describe as inadvisable. There comes a point of wine intake where you really shouldn't be having a camera pointed at you. And don't worry, darlings, I'm going to be ending this long before that moment comes. Oh, yes. Oh, very nice. Stephen S. Paul is with us. Evening, Boaty, and other individuals. What a joy to have you with us. Stephen S. Paul is one of our friends from across the old herring pond. It was a Chinese takeaway for us, says Alan Simpson, courtesy of the Golden Bamboo up the road. Duck in plum sauce for me and shredded chili beef for Mrs. S. Glorious. Oh, well, it sounds it. I've never tried either of those dishes. Damien Eves had a bratwurst from Einstein's. Einstein's. Okay. Right. Question for anybody who knows. Einstein's. Is it a chain then? Is Einstein's a chain? Because we've got one in Chesterfield, and I'd never heard of it before or since. And I assumed it was just a one-off thing, but either it's a chain or Damien lives in Chesterfield, and I don't know the answer. Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Wirral, the Leisure Peninsula, says, how are you tonight, Mr. Jason, sir? And everyone in the chat. Sorry, I cannot call in tonight as I'm at my caravan and there's no mobile phone signal. It's really bad. Don't worry, Mr. Stephen Paddy, I'm not taking calls tonight anyway. I'm all called out. I thought we'd just have a nice little low-key chat between us and we'd all get an early night. God knows we need it after last night. Oh, and Mr. Stephen Paddy had ham, new potatoes, and beans for tonight's meal. We are almost food brothers, Mr. Parry, because I had ham and new potatoes, but eggs instead of beans. We are very closely matched. That would be a thing we should play. Right, I'm going to invent a game here and now on the hoof, on the spot. Community. Oh, no, I can do a really clever thing here. Sorry, I'm getting really excited. Hang on, I'm just clutching my little tinkle with the excitement of it. I've got a brilliant new community feature. Oh, you're going to love this. Oh, this is really clever. I'm really pleased with myself. I'm genuinely excited about this. Hold on, I'll pour some wine. I'll have a quick puff and I'll explain it to you. Talk amongst yourselves, darlings. You know, there's no formality here. Right, now, I need to explain this in order for this feature to make sense, okay? So, I'm really excited about this. It doesn't take much. Right, now, here where I live in Derbyshire, northeast Derbyshire to be precise, but I believe it's a thing around Derbyshire, possibly South Yorkshire as well. Food is referred to in local slang as snap, S-N-A-P, snap. Now, I don't know if that refers to all food, but I usually hear it in reference to like lunchtime food that you have at work. It might relate to all food. Perhaps maybe one of you knows the etymology of the word. I normally hear it in relation to work food, lunchtime food, that sort of thing. So it's not unusual for one of those, caravan things that serves burgers and whatnot, or bacon and, greasy spoon type places to be called a snap cabin. And certainly, if you bring a packed lunch to work, then that's called your snap. Okay, so we've all got that fixed in our head, right? Derbyshire slang, food, snap. Right, now you'll see where I'm being really clever. I need another puff before I announce this. This is going to be one of the moments in the Boaty's World community where everybody will remember where they were when this feature was launched. Honestly, this is going to be the new OPWAP. Bear with me. I went mad and had a double puff because it is such a momentous occasion. Right, here we go. So you're up to speed with me, yeah? Derbyshire slang, food, snap. Yeah? Right. This is the feature. Community snap, snap. Yes, I am a genius. I accept your plaudits. Oh, bollocks. Oh, there we are. Thank you. Thank you so much. Community snap, snap. Community snap, snap. So, what it is, as usual, we tell each other what we've been eating during the day, right? And if you've eaten the same thing, or like constituents of the same thing with another member of the community, then you tag them and you say community snap snap or CSS or whatever you like. Hashtag CSS, hashtag community snap snap. And if I make a community snap snap with any of you, then I will say it. And, hopefully Matron will write it down for me or something like that. And we have had our first inaugural community snap snap because Mr. Stephen Parry, who is my community snap snap he and we both had ham and new potatoes today. Admittedly, he had beans, I had egg, but I'm counting that as the first inaugural community snap snap. So do join in, everybody. Let everybody know what you've eaten, and somebody else will let you know, or you can let them know if you've got a community snap going on. What a fantastic feature. Fucking hell. How seriously, I wonder about this. How am I not rich and famous when I can come up with genius ideas like this at 5 minutes past midnight on a I shouldn't be living alone in poverty, penury, and loneliness in a damp old cottage in the arse end of nowhere, should I? No, God. Hashtag community snap. I expect that to be trending worldwide tomorrow. And if it's not, I'm blaming you. Now then, back to the comments. Oh, that's right. Alan had a Chinese takeaway, didn't he? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Damien had a bratwurst from Einstein's. Oh, and Mr. Stephen Pat, I've done all of that. Trisha Alderman made vegetable chow mein, and thanks to you, it was delicious. Oh, well, that's very kind. I've done numerous videos showing how to make your own homemade chow mein, and the lovely Trisha has adopted one of my varied recipes, and it's turned out very well for us. So that's wonderful. Now, today, well, it'll be tomorrow for you guys. In the old daily diary, I've shown you, I've probably done it before. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. That was a cross between a hiccup and a burp, and it hasn't entirely gone away. No, it doesn't want to come. It wants to just stay there. Well, fair enough. We'll leave it there. So today I did my potatoes. I love doing potatoes like this. So I thought I'd show you. I might have done it before. Now I've done it again. Right? So you get your new potatoes, but you don't put them in a saucepan. You put them in a wok or a saute pan or a chow mein pan, whatever, a pan like that. And you cut them into an appropriate size. Mine, I halved some and thirded the others. And then you fill the wok or pan or whatever with water, bang it up on a massive heat because you've got a big old open pan. It's going to need a lot of heat. And you bring them to a rolling boil as if they were in a saucepan, and you just boil them like you would normally boil potatoes, right? But the water level will obviously decrease because you've got that big old pan, it's open, the water's going to evaporate. You've not got that much water in there because, a wok or saute pan is going to be relatively shallow. So when they've been doing that for like 15, 20 minutes, whatever, use your own judgment, then the water level will have either got low enough or you can just lose a bit of the water, nick the heat down just a little bit, and add in a good glug of your favorite olive oil into the water, right? And also at that point, add in seasoning and flavorings or whatever. So I use different things every time. Today, I just salt, freshly ground black pepper, and chaat masala. I love chaat masala, and I've got the good stuff from Nepal. It comes from Nepal. I nick it from work. I put it into. Would you like to see it? I can show it to you. So I wash out an old spice container and I just pop it in that. That's chaat masala from work, is that? Pardon me, I might as well have a puff while I'm up. But on other occasions, I would use like ground cumin, ground coriander, chili powder, turmeric, whatever you want to put in there, basically. So, so at that point, you've got this pan with a bit of water, a bit of olive oil, and all of these seasonings and spices in there, all these good things. And so you keep that going, and the potatoes will they've gone from boiling, and then they'll kind of start steaming, and they will absorb the seasoning and the spices and whatnot. And then gradually the water will steam away, and you're just left with the oil in the pan, at which point the potatoes go seamlessly. So they've gone from boiling to steaming, and then they're going to go seamlessly from steaming to frying. So they're already cooked and beautifully flavoursome, having had these seasonings and spices infiltrated into them. And then you just finish them off for a few minutes in the pure oil, and literally you're then just stir frying them so that they just begin to caramelize on the edges and add that delicious, and they'll pick up whatever the remnants are on the pan, and that they'll be utterly delicious. I do recommend it, darlings, and it's something that you can experiment with, and you'll find that they're jolly nice indeed. Anyway, that's all in Tomato's Daily Diary, isn't it? It's a very simple one that I did, literally just using the chat masala. You can put a lovely complex mix of herbs and spices in there. Doesn't have to be hot, doesn't have to be spicy. You can put herbs in as well. I've done it in the past with a beautiful melange of Gozitan herbs, and it's just really nice, that cooking method. And I don't know if it's I genuinely don't know if that's something that I invented myself, or if it's an acknowledged method. It could just be I've never seen or heard of anybody else doing it like that. But maybe they do, because, how many of us are original? Or maybe it genuinely is my own daft idea and something that I came up with when I was arsing about in the kitchen. I mean, it's also good because just because it produces an amazing end result, it also means you're only using one pan, and that saves on your washing up and whatnot, doesn't it? So I did my potatoes in that pan. The ham is already cooked, and all I added to that, and then I cooked the eggs in the same pan as the potatoes. I just put the potatoes in a warm place on kitchen towel to just drain any excess fat off. While I was frying the eggs, I buggered an egg up, to my eternal shame. And they were nice eggs, and I managed to bugger one up, didn't I? It happens. It happens. It doesn't often happen, but of course, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen when you're filming, isn't it? So I just had to take that on the chin. Yeah, I ballsed an egg up. Happens. Not the end of the world, but it's a really good method of cooking potatoes, I think. You might think it's silly. Anyway, excuse me for one moment. Oh, wine. Low tide at Wine Bay. Goodness gracious me. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me just assure you, ladies and gentlemen, I would never knowingly and deliberately burp at you. Sometimes I am taken by surprise by a burp, and I'm not proud. I'm not ashamed, but I'm not proud. Please don't take offense. Gosh, look, I mean, I've only just started and it's almost time to finish. How has that happened? We'd better get back to the comments and stick with them, because you wonderful people have got some lovely things to say. I have absolutely no doubt. And of course, we are now playing whatever it was called, Community Snap Snap. I love that. Community Snap Snap. That is brilliant. Right. So here we go. Boaty's gone horizontal, says Stephen S. Paul. Yes, absolutely. I would always go horizontal wherever possible. It's only when I do the joint lives that they're vertical because YouTube won't allow you to do a joint live horizontally. Why? I don't know. There might be some technical reason for all that I know or don't know. Chroma crab sandwiches for dinner, says Bad Books, and scampi, and new potato chips for tea. Oh, sorry. So that's chroma crab sandwiches for dinner, and scampi and new potato chips for tea. Thank you, Bad Books. Is there a community snap on that? We will find out. Dan Peters says, as a London guy going up north, I can certainly say it's lovely, Rochdale. It's really not. Rochdale is a dreadful place. It's awful. I mean, thank you for saying it's lovely, but trust me, Rochdale is dreadful. It's an appalling place. I mean, you can eat well there, but that's all. Rochdale has got two things going for it. One, you can eat well. Oh, if you're a criminal, then you can get anything you want: prostitutes, fake driving licenses, passports, drugs. Nothing's a problem there. And the other thing it's got going for it is it's very close to the Pennines, so you don't have to go too far out of Rochdale to be somewhere nice. But Rochdale is an absolute. Well, I mean, if the United Kingdom was an arse, then Rochdale would be one of the hemorrhoids. Put it that way. As a London guy going up north, I can certainly say it's lovely, Rochdale. It's a lot more chilled than London and so laid back. I really loved it. Oh, well, there we are. Oh my God, says Holly, 2,500 views on the other mode. I can't understand why more people watch that with the comments along the amongst the video picture and hard to see. Well, the reason is, Holly, because if you do your live vertically, then you are included on something called the vertical live feed, which offers a live feed that people can scroll through and see everybody who's doing a live at that moment in time, whether they're subscribed or not. It's just all there on a feed, and so you pick up a lot of random people, which is lovely in many ways because it gets you a chance to be noticed by other people, and it gets you a lot of views. And if you're monetized, can earn you a lot of money. But I prefer being horizontal. Now, if you're horizontal, you don't get on that thing. You don't get shared on the shorts feed. You don't get shared on the vertical live feed. So if you're horizontal, you might be seen by a percentage of your own subscribers, like you, lovely, in a scrotum, but you're not going to get anybody new. Nobody new is going to find you, or at least it's hugely unlikely that they will. And for me, that's fine. I like the intimacy between us. The fact that we haven't got other people like Captain Mustard. They love the fact that bored American 12-year-olds will come in and insult you and call you gay and call you hairy or call you ugly. I don't mind that kind of thing once a week on the joint live, but I wouldn't want it in our special moments together. It just takes away from it for me. But each to their own. As the old lady said when she kissed the cow. Jokes aside and test aside, I hate wine snobbery, says Ken Joji. I love it. I adore. I love snobbery in all forms. I love wine snobbery. I love food snobbery, and I love snobbery full stop. I'm a huge fan. It's a wonderful British institution. I am the best snob that I possibly can be, and I applaud snobs everywhere. I love them. Ah. Oh, Bad Books is near King's Lynn. People are chatting amongst themselves, which is absolutely lovely. I love that. I love when you guys just talk amongst yourselves, and that's what it's all about. Oh, Andrew's letting us know how he is. Just feeling very tired, feeling sick, but not too bad. Oh, well done. Well done. And yeah, I agree with all of the comments that are aimed at you. Batman Ruben is here. Evening, all. Hope everyone's had a nice day in the sun. Emma is missing Mr. Paddy's voice. Oh, bless you, Dan Peters. I nearly ended up in on a on a date today with a rather lovely lady. She's 87, God bless her. I feel she was rather lonely, and I carried her shopping for her today, as I didn't want to see the lady struggle. That's very kind of you. Boaty, says Steakold. Any chance of phoning the police while Hubnut's asleep? He needs arresting. What's he done now? What's he done now? Still 30 degrees in London. Apparently, it is officially the warmest day of the year so far today. So let's all sleep au naturel, shall we? Oh, Emma, depending on how she feels in the morning, might go to a car show and then Great Yarmouth tomorrow. Oh, that'll be exciting. Did you have to do a shoey on the Club 1830 flight? Look, I just, to be honest, most of the flight I hung out with the air stewardesses. I have an affinity with air crew. Um, for various reasons. I mean, I've flown a hell of a lot. There was a period where I was commuting on a weekly basis to the States and back. Obviously, Lisa ran an airline. So, yeah, to be honest, whenever I'm on a flight, I tend to gravitate towards the air crew wherever possible. And certainly on an 18 to 30, bloody hell. God, they were animals. Animals, I tell you. You get used to getting hit with the heat, says Stephen S. Paul around here, Boaty. It's 107 degrees right now. Well, yeah, as I say, it's weird that those should be the two memories that kick in every time. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Vegas, and let's face it, Vegas is, in the middle of the Nevada desert, isn't it? And I've often driven out to to whatever, to the Grand Canyon or the Hoover Dam or just whatever, driven out into the desert for the sheer hell of it. I think it's because it was unexpected on those two occasions. Obviously, when you fly out to the desert anywhere, then it's expected. So when I flew out to any time I've flown out to Vegas, then depending on the time of year, yeah, I know it's going to be hot. I lived in North Africa for a while, and guess what? There are deserts in Africa. I knew that was going to be hot. I just wasn't prepared for it in Cyprus because I'd never been there before. And I wasn't prepared for it in Paris on that night because I just didn't associate Paris with uh, that level of heat for whatever reason. I spent a lot of time in Paris, but maybe not in high summer, or maybe it was just a particularly hot weekend. I don't know. God, it was fun though. That weekend in Paris was amazing. It's nice to just remember that you haven't always been a boring old fart. You know what I mean? Les parapluies de Cherbourg. uh, no, it wasn't Saint-Malo. No, it was definitely, I'm sure it was Cherbourg. And I think I'm remembering why I wanted to go. I'm sure we've all had sporting heroes, darlings. And mine, nobody will know him. Mine was a guy called Guido Bontempi, Italian guy. Um, and he rode for a team that, cyclist, obviously, he rode for a team that I ended up racing for too, sponsored by Carrera Jeans, Italian team. And Guido Bontempi was a massive inspiration to me. He was, I know that none of you know who he was, but he and I were very similar in many ways. And it was kind of by copying the way that he raced that I maximized on my success, if that makes any sense. Because he was a similar body type to me, but also had similar strengths and weaknesses to me. And he won a very memorable Tour de France stage in 1986. And that was one of the turning points in my own athletic career. Uh, you can probably see it on YouTube. I'm sure you can. If you just Google 1986 Tour de France Cherbourg, you'll see the way the Bontempi won that stage. And I think at that point I had the idea that I wanted to go and pay some homage to just to that stretch of road in Cherbourg where he won and where it had such an effect on me. So I'm sure it was Cherbourg that we went to. I'm sure it was. In fact, I know it was. It definitely was. I can't remember where we went from, but I think it began with a P. So I think it was probably Portsmouth. Don't forget to put the thumbs up, says Maitland. That's very kind. Is he going to get to the pottering soon? No pottering tonight, darlings. He needs some more wine. I always need more wine and more pottering. I hope you had. Oh, right. That's not aimed at me. That's aimed at bad books. Wine, says Peter P. I had some Gamel Dansk today. Tastes awful, but it's good to you. God knows what that is. Oh, and Matron's Googled that. Stratospherian says Gamel Dansk or Old Danish. Not for the faint hearted. Good supplement with a Lager or Pilsner. And Peter P says all Danes start their morning with a shot of it. Bloody hell. Oh, Mustard's with us. Hello, brown jacket wearers. Hello, Captain Mustard. Hope you're very well. Oh, look, says Emma, it's Steve Berry's new sidekick. Oh, is that all out there now? Is that all out there now? I was wondering when that was going to hit. I'm rather looking forward to that. I don't know what Mustard's put out there, but presumably I'm allowed to talk about it now. The day that Mustard and I spent together with Steve Berry, where he drove my car and we had lunch and we did a Mustard and Boaty do lunch with and whatnot. Some mostly off camera. A lot of the day, Steve was talking about a couple of random ideas he had, and Mustard and I did our level best to talk him into one of them because we thought that it really had legs. He had a title for it and everything. And we talked about it for hours and hours. I thought it was a great idea, and I really did try and talk him into it. And it's kind of happening, and wonderfully, Mustard is very much involved with it, and it's very much. I shouldn't say too much because I don't know what Mustard said, so I'll hold off until I know what he said. I don't want to give everything else. Ashley Wood is with us. That's very nice. Dan Peters had a Malaysian duck curry from the local Chinese tonight. Marvelous. And Mustard's had a busy night. Oh, well, good. A busy night is a good night normally, isn't it? Mr. Boaty, a question, if I may, says Dan Peters. What is your daily card at the moment? Well, that's a very good question. My daily card at the moment is in a state of flux. It has been Christine, the press release 45. For the last 3 nights, it's been the Honourable Sheeson, but I'm hoping that sometime within the next 3 or 4 weeks, my daily car is going to be Janet Jackson. If the stars align and if it isn't sold and if we can if it can get repaired and if it can get an MOT on it, but that would be my choice of daily card at the moment. Christine, the press release 45, really needs to find the right home. I took her to show her to some fabulous rover enthusiasts who live very close to the restaurant and watch this channel. And they have they've got a beautiful home nestled into the woods where you wouldn't expect it to be, and then an unexpected courtyard of rovers and other classic cars, and they're very well aware of Christine, and they're also very well aware of the 623. So I took Christine to show them, but hopefully Christine and Windsor Davis, the 623, they both need to find new homes and very soon. So I need to work on that, and I need to work on a daily as well. My daily really does need to be a diesel, and I've become somewhat enamored of the L series diesel. So if Janet Jackson becomes available, then I will gladly use that until such point as it's sold. Otherwise, I need to I need to work on finding some way to swap things around so that I've got a diesel daily. At the moment, I'm spending £60 a week more on fuel than I really need to. And given that I'm in slight danger of going to prison on the 19th of next month, when the old court thing comes around, then having an extra 60 quid a week would be rather a good thing and could save my bacon, as it were. Oh dear, says Peter P. He's being clever. They call it bait too in the northeast, says the M11. When I lived in Durham, says Emma, my friend said to her partner, "Have you got your bait?" meaning his packed lunch. And I thought she meant he was going to go fishing. Community snap snap. Oh, I see. Oh, well, yeah, you see. This feature had better be worth all the suspense and hesitation and basting of my breasts. Of course it was worth it. Of course it was worth it. Scran, says Batman Rubin. Sorry, I'm whizzing through the comments a bit now because I've gone on a little bit too long, haven't I, darlings? Next, says Emma, Boaty will be suggesting community snap snap on Snapchat to make it even more confusing. I don't know what Snapchat is, thank God. I much prefer the community cock on tour idea. That will be happening. Oh, and our community cock has now been named. We do have you need to watch the video. For those who don't know, apologies for the thing. We have a community synthetic penis. It's pretty much a ball bag and a massive bell end, and we've decided to call it Joe Cock. So yeah, there you are. There will be adventures coming up with Joe. Emma's got big plans, and she wants them to be filmed. She's going to get to know Joe very well indeed. It's going to be quite an intimate relationship, I imagine. Oh, dear, 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 dear. Emma, you look so posh but have such a dirty mind. She sounds posh as well. Oh, dear. I look forward to the herb and spice tatties. Sounds really nice on your Fanny Craddock daily diary. Right, the daily diaries are going to take. I enjoy doing the. Look, I don't claim to be a cook. I'm not a cook, not in any way, shape, or form. There are chefs at the restaurants. They are brilliant. I I am nothing like that. I don't claim to be able to tell you how to do anything properly. I'm a guy that is poor. I live alone, and I don't want to eat processed shit, basically. So I try and just make something that's edible, that tastes nice, that is reasonably healthy. And I try to do that on a really small budget. And it's going to be a thing in the daily diaries. I'm going to make lunch a regular thing. It will encourage me not to fall into bad ways. And, maybe you'll find it interesting, or maybe you'll feel better about yourselves because you feel sorry for me, or maybe it will possibly, inspire a couple of you to try something or other. Anyway, they're going to be in there. And my plans for tomorrow's lunch. Now, this might change, but my plans for tomorrow lunch are Frey Bentos pie. It's about time, isn't it? It is now an official. It's the official Boaty's World community pie, and it's about time I damn well cooked one. And the beautiful and fabulous M11 was kind enough to send me one disguised as a what's it called, banjalele. So the plan is tomorrow I'm going to cook it, and I'm going to cook something with it. Probably just I don't know what yet. I don't know, but I found myself a bit poor tonight, so my shopping was somewhat limited, to say the least. And my lunch options tomorrow are equally somewhat limited. So that is the plan. Tomorrow is going to be the Frey Bentos pie experience. Ah. You buggered an egg? I did. I totally buggered it. How did you bugger an egg up? Did you burn it? No, I broke the yolk. I don't know how, but I broke the yolk. You'll see in the video. Boris Balkan is here and says, "Where is the girl?" Well, she's there in the comments, Boris, but she's not here with me. Not tonight. I messed my eggs up today, says Matron. Solid yolks, almost as bad as snotty whites. Oh, and Emma says, "If you mean me, I'm right here, Boris." Quite rightly. He throws away the whites. That's just so fussy. The whites are a good part of eggs. Nah, the whites are not healthy. Not for me. I chuck them away. As Steve Berry said, says Ross, Rochdale seems a bit like Beirut. Yeah. On my video, Steve Berry, Top Gear Steve Berry, did say that Rochdale does seem like Beirut. And that's exactly what it is like. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm just going to scud through these comments because it really is kind of time to go. Oh, fucking hell. Boaty, says Emma. I've got 803 views on my Slanted No video now. Emma, there is a lamppost right outside your house. You know what to do. Bloody hell. I'm getting battered. You should have bought Derek the diesel. Oh, Derek. Oh my God, why have you got caught? Was it a flipping speed camera? Caught you were doing 30 in a stupid 20 limit or something? No, I have a very low income and unfortunately, I'm not able to pay my council tax. So they're probably going to send me to prison for it. Glad you're having a giggle at that, Andrew. Oh dear. Right, well, I've kind of caught up with the comments and I've kind of glossed over a lot of them, but it is very late at night. I can't cope with another super late night, and I'm sure you can't too. So if you've typed something wonderful that I've missed, then don't worry. Type it again tomorrow night because I will be back, darlings. 11:30 tomorrow night for Saturday Night Live, and we can do this all over again. So we can. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And on that note, I'm going to get off. I'm going to get some supper. I'm going to catch up with Captain Mustard's videos or video, whatever it is he's put out there. And I'm just going to relax and get to bed well before 2 a.m., which is more than I did last night. It was gone 3 o'clock when I got to bed last night, and I can't cope with another night like that. So I'm going to wish you all a safe and peaceful night. Hope you all have a lovely weekend. Have the best day that you possibly can ahead. Don't forget about Community Snap Snap. And if you're able to, and if you would like to, please join me again tomorrow night. Oh, excuse me. Same time, same place, 11:30. Oh, God. See what I mean? This is where I need to go. My body starts falling apart, darlings. Falling apart. So, yeah, join me tomorrow night, 11:30, same place, same time, Saturday Night Live. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day you can tomorrow. Take really good care of yourselves. And if you're lucky and you've got people you cared about who cared about you, take care of them too. Much love from me, and I'll see you next time. For Phew and indeed. Oh, yes, a brave Bentos. Bosh.